Welcome to this episode. This is a adolescent young adult relationship episode. Through the course of this week, at least, it is Tuesday, at least 4 times that I can remember right off the top of my head, I have overheard or been involved in conversations about, should I be in a relationship with this other person? That's what this episode is about. We're going to talk about that. Should I be in a relationship with this other person? Find out what I think about that. Here we go. The first thought, the first consideration, this kind of comes from the no-brainer department. But, all right, so here the consideration is, do you like the person? Are they fun to be with? Do you enjoy being with the other person? And you're thinking, well, of course, you would not be in a relationship if that was not true. But that's not the case. I had a conversation, student said, hey, me and this other person, we broke up. We kind of aren't together anymore. I was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. And the reply was, it's okay, I wasn't really into that person anyway. I really didn't like him that much. Then why were you in a relationship with him? The second thing is a whole lot more serious. The second thing is respect. Do you respect the other person, and does the other person respect you? Now this is really, really important. And by respect, I mean a regard that is positive and favorable, a regard that is a little bit of admiration, a little bit of wow, a little bit of all of that. That you look at their life and you see the way they live their life and you say, I really respect that. And the second thing is it has to be a two-way, this is the second thing of the second thing, it has to be a two-way respect. Do you respect the other person, and does the other person respect you? And we're now at the place where the interest in the relationship is pretty serious. And this occurs somewhere along the way. There's an evolution in the relationship process, and then so the question is, we're on the cusp of making this a relationship. And a student asked me today, she says, what if my friends don't like him, and what if my friends start making fun of me, or something along those lines, not the exact words. What if my friends disapprove? It's a very important question. What if your friends disapprove? That's one of two things. One is you think, well, they just don't get it or something like that. But if these are good friends who are interested in your well-being, it is important that you analyze their disapproval. Is there something about this person that should raise caution flags and somehow you're missing it? Don't just disregard what your friends think. I'm not saying just blow your friends off and don't listen to them. But you're the one that's going to be in the relationship. And if the first two things are true, you like the person, they're fun to be with, you respect each other, you respect him, her, he respects you. If it's the respect is mutual, then that's up to you whether you want to be in the relationship or not. But on the other hand, you do need to consider, what is it about the person that your friends disapprove of? Because maybe your emotions and your hormones and all that stuff has blinded you to something. The fourth thing to consider when answering the question, should I be in a relationship with this person? The fourth thing, this is very serious and this is very important, because however you answer this and however you think about this makes a big difference. The consideration is, are you compatible morally, spiritually, ethically, religiously? Are you compatible? And some people say, well, I'm not into that at all. I don't really think about that. That's not important to me. Well, if it's not important to you and it is important to the other person, then there's a problem. So not being important is the consideration, is it not important to both of you? Do you neither of you have a moral, ethical, or spiritual paradigm in which you operate? And this brings in for a lot of people the physical relationship aspects. I made another video about things you should consider before you start making out. Where is the line? Do you have a line? And if you don't have a line, then does the other person have a line and you don't? Because this is a compatibility issue. I'm not trying to tell you what the moral and ethical and spiritual and physical position should be, but I'm saying that yours and the other person's needs to be the same. The next thing to consider, this is really just a matter of pragmatics. This is a matter of a very practical consideration. And should I be in a relationship with someone? And this has to do with location and schedule. I know a lot of long distance relationships work well in the 21st century because of technology, but if there is no time intersection where you both can share time together, then you really don't have a relationship. You might have something that is called a relationship, but if you can't intersect your time and the other person's time, if there is no match, if this is your schedule and this is their schedule, and you can never interact with each other, then how is that going to be a relationship? And that's very practical. It's not very romantic. It's not very exciting. It's like, oh, we're so in love, except we can never see each other. There has to be that intersection of time, or there will be no relationship. Better if there's an intersection of time and space where you can not only have time to share together, but you can also be in the same proximity and do the same things together. And it's not just like a FaceTime relationship. But if the relationship is such that you can handle that not being in the same place at the same time, you still have to be in the same time at the same time. The last consideration about whether you should be in a relationship or not is a little bit of the other side of the coin. And here's what that consideration is. It's all about keeping it in perspective. Depending on your age and depending on your life experiences, you've probably been in some number of relationships, or you're going to be in some number of relationships. And the chances of this one being the one is a function of how old you are and how closely you considered all the factors before you entered the relationship. So the consideration, the advice, the other side of the coin thing is, if it doesn't work out, what's the big deal? What's the big deal if this is just, it hurts, it's painful, but it's not that big of a deal. You will eventually get over the pain, and here's the thing. If it is the one and you don't try it, you'll never know. I'm not saying just bounce from relationship to relationship and try every one that comes along. What I'm saying is, if all the other factors line up, if you enjoy the person's company, if there's respect that goes both ways, if you're morally and ethically and religiously compatible, all of those things, if everything we talked about up to this point lines up and you try it, it might work out. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of the relationship. I'm Bill Snodgrass. I hope you enjoyed this relationship episode on young adult and adolescent relationships. If you did, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, sign up for notifications, leave me a comment, a question. Share this video with someone who might be trying to decide, should I be in this relationship or should I not? Should I try this relationship out or should I not? Share the video and maybe you can help someone else. That is all I have for this one. I will see you in the next one.